It's utterly ridiculous. I mean, it's a joke. It's an absolute joke and ruining college football.
This guy, Jimbo Fisher, a college football head coach, a full-out grown man, reminds me a lot of a crybaby. Because last year, remember, he didn't have any problem with it. Now, he's got a problem. Ho, 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 Merry Christmas. I tell you this much, it sure does feel like Christmas, just like my man Ted Cox says. To everybody dealing with the freezing weather and snow, stay safe and stay warm. Big shout out to my man Ted for commenting that on the last video. But however, we gotta talk about your boy Jimbo Fisher, one of the most hated college football coaches currently, crying about the NIL. Yeah, I know, it's kind of ironic, isn't it? Because he was loving it last year, but now he hates it. Oh man, I'll tell you this much, as not even an Alabama fan or an SEC fan, as a college football fan, I'm eating this up. I love it. You want to know why I love it so much? Because I remember in the offseason, and you remember watching videos, I told you guys I didn't have a problem with Jimbo Fisher going at Nick Saban, but once he got personal with Saban and saying he's got some dark history and all that nonsense, yeah, that's when I lost all of the little bit of respect I had for Jimbo. Now, let me make this clear. I didn't have much respect for Jimbo before he said what he said about Saban, but after that, I have none. I don't respect the guy because when you want to lie about Nick Saban and say he's done some shady and dark stuff in his past when everybody knows that isn't true, I can't respect it. But now you got Jimbo saying stuff like this, and once again, the word I'm going to use for this video, the word of the day, is ironic. Jimbo stated, "There is so much tampering going on. It is utterly ridiculous. It is a joke. It is an absolute joke." And that's just some of what he said, and I'm going to show you the entire video clip. It goes without being said, we've got a lot to talk about in this one. It's going to be very, and I mean very interesting. Get your popcorn, your drink, your snack, your meal, whatever you like to eat when you watch a video, because trust me, I do the same thing. And yeah, also we're on the road to 260K. If you want to help us get to that goal before Christmas, consider subscribing. If not, that's cool too. All right, Matt, blah, 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 shut up, grab out. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. Drum roll, please. I don't know why I did a drum roll, but anyways, let's just roll with it. I have a question for you guys. Who really started this NIL and paying these players? I want you to carefully think about that. Yeah, maybe some people is doing it here and there, but who was the big name around all this last year? Oh, wait a minute, that's right. Jimbo Fisher. Jimbo Fisher and Texas A&M started this mess, which I have no problem with. The problem I have with this is now they're complaining about it. Do y'all not remember what happened last year when everything was going great for Texas A&M and Jimbo and they got that number one recruiting class? What did he say? I believe he said something along the lines, "Hey, we're not paying these guys. We're just out recruiting you and kicking your butts." Y'all remember that, right? I don't have to show you the video clips. We've already talked about that. Jimbo's argument was, hey, you just need to give me and Texas A&M credit because we're doing a heck of a job. Fast forward in time to our current date, you now have Jimbo saying word for word, "There is so much tampering going on, it is utterly ridiculous." Jimbo, what happened? I thought you loved the NIL. I thought it was going great for you. I thought you were out recruiting everybody. Once again, ironic, isn't it? We'll talk about that in just a second. First things first, I almost forgot to bring this up. I got to talk about this because I had a couple people sending it to me. I meant to talk about this a day ago. I forgot. Major shout out to my man Brett. He tagged me in it again. And yeah, I'm just going to show you. You're right here. I can't even believe this. The breaking news going on is that North Texas starting quarterback, 29-year-old, by the way, is entering the transfer portal. That's not a typo. You heard me correctly. 29-year-old quarterback is entering the transfer portal. I assume 99% of your reactions were similar to mine. How does this guy have eligibility left? Well, to answer that question, I have no idea, but it is what it is. Everybody has different opinions about this. You got some people trying to say, hey, respect his decision. He's trying to live out his dream, and I get that. And then you have the other share of people, I'd say 60%, saying, you just got to hang it up. I'm going to give you my honest and humble opinion. As much as I like to joke on Stetson DoorDash Bennett, he's 25 years old, and Hendon Hooker, I think he's either about to be 25 or he is 25, I can kind of understand that. Although Stetson DoorDash Bennett being 25 is insane, there is a major difference from playing college football at 25 and about to be 30. We're talking about a guy who has 1 year left of eligibility. He's going to play college football next year, and he's going to be 30 years old. That is where, at least to me, it comes to the point where you need to start looking at your other career outside of football. It's kind of like, okay, man, I get you're having fun and whatnot, you're in college, but when are you going to get a job? You know what? Hold on. As a matter of fact, let me look up this guy's stats because I have no idea how many years he's played and I don't even know what kind of numbers he's putting up. Okay, got it pulled up right here. He started playing in 2019, which was about 3 to 4 years ago. Didn't play much as a freshman, and in 2020, this looks like the year where he started. Completed 55% of his passes, 1,600 yards, 13 touchdowns to 4 interceptions. Not too bad. 2021, not so hot, 9 TDs to 9 INTs. And last but not least, his most recent year, which is technically his junior year as a 29-year-old, in 2022, 3,500 passing yards and 33 touchdowns to a whopping 15 INTs. I know that some of you are going to run to the comments and say, well, Matt, remember that guy for Oklahoma State? I think his name was Brandon Weeden. I think he was playing college football at 33 years old. Here's the thing with that. Number one, Brandon Weeden was actually putting up solid numbers. He was always completing around 70% of his passes at Oklahoma State. And two, although Brandon Weeden, he was old as dirt, he was a legit NFL prospect. He was drafted in the first round. This guy, no disrespect to you, continue to chase your dreams and work hard. I don't think he's an NFL draft prospect. It's a cool story, but to me, I think the NCAA has to put a limit on this. I just think it's weird and it's not right for 18-year-olds fresh out of high school to be playing against 30-year-olds. I would say if you're over the age of 27, you can't be playing anymore. It's a cool story, and hey, who knows, maybe he has an insane year next year and he gets drafted to the NFL. Even if he's drafted in the 6th round, being a backup quarterback, you're gonna make some decent money. I am very curious about that. Let me know your thoughts. Should he hang it up or continue to live out the dream? But finally, moving on to the main topic, the main encore, the main reason you clicked onto this video, we gotta talk about Jimbo Fisher. I'm going to show you this entire 1-minute video clip, but first things first, let me read you off this entire quote. Or actually, I guess I'll just show you the video clip. Matt, roll a clip.
Overall, did you ever picture things going this way as far as transfer portals, NIL, things like that?
You mean in college football?
Yes, sir.
I knew eventually pay for play. I didn't know if it NIL like it came about. And like I say, the problem with all of it is there's no consistency in rules. And then when you get into the portal, there's so much tampering going on.
Tampering? Jimbo, what is this tampering stuff you say? You would never do something like that, would you? I don't even know what to say about this. I can't even laugh at it. It's just sad. This guy's just a straight up clown, and that is the only thing I know to say.
It's utterly ridiculous. I mean, it's a joke. It's an absolute joke in ruining college football. And like I heard, I was the coach at UTSA the other day. I think he was. I mean, those guys there, and all of a sudden everybody's robbing their players and taking their. I mean, using them. I mean, that level of players. I mean, this is not good for college football as far as how it's done. I'm not saying being able to transfer is not bad. I'm not saying paying players is not bad. But the current rules and status of how it's done, the way it's done, is ridiculous.
Ridiculous? Jimbo, what's ridiculous? I think you're just mad that other teams have the budget that you have. Because now, it's an even playing field. All these schools can afford to buy players. Last year, it was just really a couple of schools, mainly Texas A&M. Now, everybody's got this name, image, and likeness funding going on. It's just your boy Jimbo. He doesn't like to compete, and he doesn't know how to.
I mean, but it is here. So everybody's got the same issues. Everybody's got the same problems. And, you know, the ones that keep pushing the rules and breaking them will get rewarded, and the other ones, you've got to keep fight, scratching, and clawing to do things the right way, but you can do it that way and win. Always have.
There's very few people who I label as sad individuals that walk on this planet, but Jimbo is one of them. And I mean that disrespectfully, and I'll be honest with you guys, the main reason I have this grudge with him is because, number one, he's a hypocrite, and number two, he disrespected Nick Saban, who I respect and admire deeply. And it's not just me that feels this way. Look at Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin even jokes about Jimbo Fisher. He can't stand the guy. Because the bottom line is, when you go after a guy like Nick Saban, who has integrity and great honor, nobody's really going to like you or respect you. Y'all know how I feel about him. This guy's the definition of a fraud, and even if you're an A&M fan, I have nothing against y'all. But how do you like this guy? There is no way Texas A&M fans can actually like him. You just put up with him. The sad part about it is A&M fans ain't too bad themselves. This guy just ruins it for everybody. This guy, Jimbo Fisher, a college football head coach, a full-out grown man, reminds me a lot of a crybaby. What is a crybaby, you may ask? It's someone who cries when they don't get their way or it's not going how they thought it would. How can you sit up here 8 to 9 months ago and say, yeah, we did it by the books, we didn't pay anybody, the NIL is awesome, then here we are, fast forward in time 8 months later, you're complaining about it. Like, dude, you got to pick a side. You either like the NIL or you hate it. Quit going back and forth. Because last year, remember, he didn't have any problem with it. Now, he's got a problem. It's a crybaby mentality. I'll put it into an even better perspective so some of you can try to relate. You know what? Scratch that. I'm not even going to give you guys an example. I think y'all understand how pitiful and embarrassing this is. He reminds me of girls when I was in middle school and high school. The only thing he cares about is drama. I got some advice for you, Jimbo. Maybe, and this is just a maybe, if you quit crying about all this stuff and focusing on practice and focusing on your team, maybe you could win more than 6 games next year. But hey, once again, keyword maybe. I don't know if that can happen. I don't hate this guy. I do not hate Jimbo Fisher. Hate is a very strong word, but I don't like him. This is another example as to why I don't like him, as to why Lane Kiffin doesn't like him, as to why many people don't like him. He's a straight up weirdo, and if I saw him today, I would tell that to his face. Let me know your thoughts down below. But,